Hello and welcome to another edition of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem, a show where we answer your most pressing questions about the most recent episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved, which was Harry Houdini. All of the questions we're answering today came from you guys via our BuzzFeed Unsolved Facebook page, our BuzzFeed Unsolved Instagram page, as well as directly on the video on...
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Jesus!
Well, should we just leave it? No.
There's a specter has entered the chat. Just quickly before we jump into the episode here, we are filming this episode before the election, so we do not know what happened during the election. I'm assuming they haven't called it yet, but let's just say I'm hoping for some good news.
Yeah, you know, fingers crossed.
Stay safe out there. Anyways, let's get on to talk about something a little more jolly. Let's talk about
a man dying.
Death.
Harry Houdini. Magic man.
Yeah, you're your second favorite magician after David Blaine. Actually, that's accurate for me.
David Blaine, mind freak.
Chris Angel.
Chris Angel's mind freak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, you had to clarify his nickname. Confirm it.
Then maybe Houdini. You know what? I don't even give a shit about Houdini. What's his deal, man? I guess we talked about it in the episode.
We had a whole episode
It's
about
just,
it.
I never seen him do magic. All he did was lock himself in boxes, and I don't care about that.
But you care about Mind Freak, who's doing just visual gags?
He doesn't do gags. You watch your mouth.
Shall we move to a question here, since we're not going to talk about Houdini at all?
Well, we're going to talk about him.
Well, I know, we weren't in the prelude.
That's true.
Let's go to, let's start with YouTube.
Okay.
This comes from Buginji. For Postmortem, Ryan talked about what he'd do if he was a ghost. Shane, what would you do if you died and became a ghost? Would you try to prove your existence to Ryan or stay hidden out of spite to not give him the satisfaction? I think you'd do the latter.
Well, I'll choose neither of those, and I'll say I'd find the nearest lazy river and float for all of eternity.
Would you be even able to feel the texture of the water? Would you even float?
Yeah, I'd float.
I feel like you wouldn't be able to float. I feel
Ghosts
like you would just...
That's the number one ghost thing is floating. So yeah, I'm floating.
Yeah, but they're floating on their own volition. They're not floating because of
I'll be floating on my own volition.
I don't know what the buoyancy
of a
ghost is.
Well, they're not jacked. It doesn't take muscles. So it's not like they're exerting any energy.
No, but I'm saying, like, I don't know if ghosts are buoyant. I think they just
don't.
They just go straight to the water. You would have to pretend like you were on a lazy river.
Well, how come then you see a ghost on the second floor of a home, they're not falling through the floor and going, I'm falling into the magma in the Earth's core.
That's
bunch of hot nickel.
A lot of, like, discrepancies, because, like, you know, when someone will go, like, they touch a ghost and they just right through it?
Yeah.
You would think that that would be the same interaction with water then, which to me would be the saddest existence of you wanting to interact with a lazy river, but just having to pretend like you were.
Well, in the same way that a floor keeps you up, then it would also, I think a lazy river would as well.
It's fair.
I think people go through ghosts because ghosts are locked into some sort of, and I say this all with the caveat that they're not real.
It sounds like you're talking about them as if you've seen
You know, like you have said that they sort of go through the motions and are living their life.
A residual haunting.
A residual haunting. So if someone is like, hey, karate chopping them, it's just going to go through them because they're not, they're not paying attention to some
pretty
jackass.
Poor karate chops. You don't deserve to kill anybody with those karate chops.
That's how I do my chops.
Hey! I think you would, you'd wake up, you'd realize you were a ghost. You'd have a little cry because you realize you were wrong this entire time.
Yeah.
And then I think you would hide yourself in a cabinet somewhere for all of eternity out of shame.
No, I wouldn't give a shit.
Shamey Shane.
I wouldn't care. But I wouldn't haunt you because then why would I let you believe that? I wouldn't be like, hey, dude, you were right. I'd be like, fuck that guy. I'm going to Vegas.
And one day I would be on vacation on a lazy river.
Yeah.
And I would just go, it smells like Schaumburg all of a sudden. It smells like corn. And I'd hear someone hooting and hollering, and I would go, I know that hooting and hollering. That's Shane when he sees the lazy river. That's got to be Shane.
You know my classic lazy river hoot and holler.
Woo!
Woo! Lazy river, woo!
Yeah, I would just hear it echoing through the tunnels.
Oh, we get a good echo out
And
of
everyone would be like, is that a wild coyote? I don't think No, that's Shane Madej. That's the specter of Shane Madej.
Yeah, that's the noisy, that's his river hollers. You sit back while I ask a question.
Sure, that's all I could do.
This is from Facebook, from Larabe Fatima Kiani. I still don't get whether Houdini was a Shaniac or a boogara. Love you guys so much. Hashtag postmortem.
It seems very much like he was a shitfish, where he believed, but not a majority of the things that were cast at him. Like, he believed in the possibility of ghosts being real, but for the most part thought everyone who was involved in the occult were hucksters.
Yeah.
Were just flim-flam men.
I guess that would sort of put him on the side of a Shaniac in the sense that I have always said I would love nothing more.
But you don't believe in the possibility of ghosts, which is like the defining characteristic and base of a Shaniac.
I guess that's true.
I think he'd be in the middle. Well, no, we have a name for that.
Reader.
He'd be a reader.
Shout out to Reed.
Shout out to Reed. Let's move on here. Let's go back to YouTube. Mikey M with a little smiley face emoji. The more analog version where it's just like
I love that.
The colon and then the D, the capital D.
Oh, a big D.
In honor of Halloween, what's your favorite candy? It can be type or brand. And then another smiley face, big D. I got mine right now, locked and loaded.
What is it?
Nerds Rope.
Oh, dude, I love Nerds Rope.
What are you gonna do? What
It's
are you gonna
so
do?
good.
Just 2 peas in a pod
I
here.
use 2 peas in a fucking pot, baby.
I don't know. It's the gumminess is the perfect amount of gummy for it to be satisfying with the crunch of the nerds.
Crunch of the nerds.
Yes, yeah. What can I say? We're a couple of nerds.
Sponsor us.
I'd love to be bound with Nerds Rope and then bite my way out of it
that'd be
eventually.
fun. Would Houdini have liked Nerds Ropes? Do we know enough about him?
I'd like to say he would.
Yeah, me too. Let's go over to Instagram. This is from Lucy Gillum. Is it possible that the man who punched him was the one who could have injected poison? He could have had the syringe in his hand that he punched him with, or injected him while he was distracted from the punches. Anyway, love you guys on the channel. 2 exclamation points.
I would imagine the needle would snap in half once it entered your skin, right?
Well, also, how are you holding it?
Well, you would have to hold it like, you know when you put your keys in between your fingers?
Yeah, but then it's gonna break when you punch him.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Unless they had like some kind of crazy supervillain ring where like it like flipped open like this and there was like a tiny little needle. It's like, yeah, I don't think so though.
I don't think so.
I think Whitehead was a meathead and just wanted to punch somebody. Let's go to YouTube again.
Okay.
Gabriel Altman says, #postmortem, do you think Houdini was tired of doing magic so he faked his own death?
No way, dude.
I don't think so either.
No. You think you're gonna spend your whole life being a magic man?
Yeah.
And then just say, you know what, that's enough.
I also think he loved magic.
He did.
He loved it so much that he made sure he was the only one in the box. And he wrote books about other people not doing magic as good as he did.
Yeah, so, he loves magic like we love Nerds Ropes.
There's no scenario where I am faking my own death to stop eating Nerds Ropes.
No.
I don't think he faked his own death. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's go over to YouTube. RVS Fest. Do you think you guys could pull the Brothers Houdini show of your own? What kind of performances would you do?
No, this would be like a vaudeville show.
I guess so.
I think we could.
Yeah, for sure.
Do a little fit as a fiddle. We'd learn how to play the fiddle, and then we'd also learn how to tap dance.
You know, it would be fun to lure people in with the promise of a magic show, and then it's just all taps.
It would be great.
And they say, where was the magic? And we're like, our feet. That's where the magic is.
It's trapped in our heels, baby. Yeah. And the only way we can release that
let it out!
Is if we tap it out.
So yeah, we would do that.
Let's go to Hyserius, I think. What if, this is from Instagram, #postmortem, what if the mediums were actually able to contact Houdini, but he purposely didn't say the code just to spite them and make it seem like they're frauds? Very similar to something that one Shane Madej would do.
He honestly seemed really intent on making that connection, though.
But he did also seem very intent on making out spiritualists to be frauds, especially seance people.
Wouldn't there be some sort of gratification, though, to being someone who has finally figured out how to communicate with the dead? And granted, the medium could take some of the credit, but he's the one who set up the little code. So it'd be a great feather in his cap. I spoke with the dead, you know?
In which he would be dead?
What? Oh, I thought he was talking to his wife or something.
No, he was dead.
I forgot how the story went.
No, he was dead, and him and his wife had prearranged a code that he would relay from the other side.
Yeah.
And this guy is saying that Houdini would purposefully not say the code just to make it seem like this medium was actually a hoax.
Yes, that's possible.
It's possible. He was petty, so yes, I think it's very possible. What are you gonna do?
BuzzFeed once had a party at Houdini's mansion.
That's true. Did you see anything there?
I saw Ryan Bergara snort some Fireball whiskey at the after party.
I tried to take the double shot in one go, and it did not work, so I coughed as I was doing that. And as I coughed, the whiskey went straight up into my nose, which then went into my brain, and I immediately lost consciousness.
Oof. What membranes? Are there membranes in there?
Whatever's up there, it's
not
made for catching alcohol. That's all I'll say.
Oof.
Anyways, let's move on to some fan art here.
Well, we got one from Sunny Critters.
This looks like us on the Goatman Bridge with my little water pistol and Steve the Goatman, who kind of looks like Groot.
There he is. He does look like Groot.
Right? He does look like Groot.
Yeah. I like the exaggerated expressions here.
Yeah, I like my teeth that
Yeah.
are enormous.
That's funny.
It's very fun. Fun bridge, fun guy, Steve.
Now-
Haven't talked to him in a long time.
Thank you, Sunny Critters. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Great work on the lighting, too.
It's good stuff. Moving on to at Micro Galaxies. This one's animated, and it's us at the Sally house, me with my holy water. And, oh, look, Shane has little...
I've got little devil horns. I
that's
guess I'm
because
like the devil or
You're
something.
a demon. That's
cute.
It is the theory that you are a demon. Just a theory, though.
This is from Mrs. Prince, 55. The boys are back in town. Boys are back down.
Classic,
Boys are
classic,
back. Can we sing that?
This is the classic true crime poster.
Yeah.
Look at you, like just balancing that knife on your finger like Thanos. Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
The next picture that we have here comes from @Beecher_arts. It's a picture of me and Gary Busey. And
Well, don't make fun of them for not having a good likeness to me.
I think it looks a lot like Gary Busey. That's a compliment. I think this is a recasting.
I think it kind of looks like James Urbaniak.
A little bit.
They really did nail the janketiness of our rigs.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That is not a lot of constitution in those arms.
Just an
Slowly
erector
but
set.
surely just gets sadder and sadder as the night goes on. Really good, though. I actually really like the color on this one. Nice reference, it looks like, to Goosebumps in terms of color.
Oh, yeah.
I really do enjoy how you made Shane look.
You remember her, like, man, half the fun of those Goosebumps books was just the cover art.
Me too. I would go to
Beautiful.
my book fair and I would pick the ones that I liked based on cover
They're
alone.
gorgeous. What were some of your favorite covers?
We had,
Thank you, Beecher Arts, by the way. That's beautiful.
We had Tower of London. We had The Masked. I think it was just called The Mask.
The Haunted Mask?
The Haunted Mask.
Where she's got, I always liked that one. I don't know why.
That one's good. There was one where there was like a doctor who had was making like creepy crawlies, like an evil doctor.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one. There was also one with slime.
Oh, the Terror at Camp Jelly Jam had a good one.
Right.
That original Slappy cover.
Yes.
Woo.
Slappy's good. It slaps.
Nightmare
That
stuff.
Slappy cover slaps.
Yeah. Ryan, I got a question. What's coming up this week on BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime?
This one's a little bit more classic. A classic cold case. A person who vanished.
Whoa.
And that's all I will say.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Vanishing.
That does it for this episode of Unsolved Postmortem. Make sure you watch the episode this Friday and then send in your questions to the BuzzFeed Unsolved Facebook page, the BuzzFeed Unsolved Instagram page, or comment directly on the video on Bun, and maybe you'll be in the next episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem.